And is it still? Hey guys, welcome to a disappointing episode of Nightmare Road. I am your very disappointed host. And this episode is brought to you by Cue the Metal Music. Hey guys, if you guys are tired and you guys don't know how you're gonna get past the security gate with the 5 girls in the trunk of your car because you're so tired, get a Zapple. Zapple helps me. Okay, guys.
Yes.
No, I'm still like a little sick, so my throat hurts, so I kind of.
Yeah, it probably
I
should
may
be
not. Yeah, I may not be able to do my Kemper. Anyway, so yeah, and then here we have our very, very lovely host.
It's me. It's so weird. Sorry.
Laura Slasher. Slasher.
Yeah.
Jesus.
New York.
Yeah, it's just like her uncle, Asa. Acer. Asa. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so this is part 2 of the Ed Kemper adventures, so just imagine, a gigantic King Kong like jumping, and there's like a rainbow behind them, and there's like fairies floating around, and then people are insinuating that I'm calling them gay. No, that's not it at all. It's just the adventure part. All right, so where we last left off, he had just killed a couple of girls, and he took them back to his place, and he cut them up, and he did some horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
And he told an interviewer that what he said in the. So I think we covered it last time, but he would insert himself up the throat hole.
In
like
anywhere he could.
Yeah, but he found that to be like very pleasurable. So he says that while he was doing that, he told the interviewer that he thought to himself, wow, this is kind of crazy.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No, he's not. Damn, self-awareness is it scarier when you have somebody that's self-aware, or is it scarier when a person's not aware of what they're doing?
I think not aware. I feel, well, scarier not aware, like more creepy aware. Because like they know that they're doing it and they just keep doing it anyway.
Yeah, they're just like,
yeah.
What you gonna do? They treat it like it's
it's
amazing.
Yeah.
So all right, so that happens, right? He does that, and then he takes the body. I'm going off of memory, guys. Here, like last time I read on Kemper was holy shit, I don't remember. But he took the body parts and he deposited them in several places.
Yeah.
And the girl that he was the most attracted to, is that right? It was the one that he was the most attracted to, the one that was like the most shy, the most, because the other one was.
I'm not sure because like I get the
names mixed up. You know what he said? Now that I remember, there was an interview where he was talking about how this one was more attractive dead than she was alive, because dead she kept her mouth shut.
Yeah.
And it was the girl that was very flirty with him. Like it grossed him out because he was like, this is an immoral girl. And he was attracted to the quiet one. To the quiet one, he was like, oh, this is the attractive one, blah, blah, blah. And he had her eyes on her. But then after he said he killed them, after she was dead, he says the more outgoing one and the easy one was the one that he found more attractive. So he deposited the head and the remains in a certain wooded area.
The heads he threw them in a ravine.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm getting a couple of them confused because it's gonna.
There are so many.
But but then he still visited those remains, and he said that he liked being near them, He said, or like being near the one, like being near the one. He's like, and I sat there. Damn, that's gonna be so hard to do. He's
Don't
like,
do
well, maybe let's just use his real voice. He was like, honestly, he said, I sat there and I felt peace and I felt comfort because she was there with me, you know.
It's pretty
And
gross.
it's gross. He's so articulate when he speaks in some interviews, because
Yeah.
also it depends on the interviewer. If the interviewer is
Mhm.
like very pushy, he kind of like rushes it. But if the interviewer was kind of like, all right, why don't you talk? Then he kind of like showed, how soft spoken he was and
He
everything. And he's
liked
like,
it. He
you've been
liked
there.
talking.
He
He's a
was like,
big
you've been
talker.
there. You've been there. And the guy's like, I can't say that I have. And he says, no, you've been there with something is so endearing to you that you like being and just being near the place that brought you good memories. And the guy was like, yeah, I guess, because he was like, jeez, dude, like, what are
Yeah,
you talking
no,
about?
that's insane. I mean,
That
like,
is
sure,
crazy.
there are places that you made a lot of good memories that you would go back to and, like, remember these things, but not where
Murder,
you
yeah,
threw,
through
body parts and
a
things.
body.
It's insane.
Crazy. So yeah. So anyway, so he goes off, right? And then he looks at the errors of his ways and he was like, you know what? I need help. And he went to go turn himself in. Wait, that didn't happen.
No,
Um, who was his next victim?
he found a 15-year-old girl that was walking. Yeah, it's crazy. 15-year-old. I'm sure he didn't know, in the beginning that she was 15, but I mean, he went through it
Yeah,
anyway. Um, she was walking and
that's a chinita,
she,
right?
yeah, he said that, but he said she was walking and said that she was going to a school dance. And he was like, I'll take you. And then yep,
Damn, did you hear what her mom said to the police?
no. What did she say?
Her mom said that normally her daughter didn't want to go to certain things, and the mom kind of pushed her. She's like, no, you need to be out more outgoing. This time, she said that the mom had a bad feeling. She was like, you shouldn't, don't go, don't walk. Like, if you're going to go, let me drive you. Just give me 20 minutes, whatever the hell it was. And then she's like, no, I can go. I can figure out. That's what everybody does. Everybody hitchhikes. That's what everybody does. Like, you're
I
being,
mean,
ridiculous.
even
Okay. Sorry, guys. It stopped. Actually, it booted me completely off. So we're going to go back to where we were. So the daughter, you were saying, even if you had a 15-year-old daughter,
yeah, even if I had a 15-year-old daughter, and she's like, everybody hitchhikes or whatever, like
who
no,
cares?
yeah, I wasn't gonna. Mm-mm.
And that's the way people got around back then. Like a lot of the younger generation hitchhiked, you know, because they probably assumed that a lot of the people around that area were college students and we're going in the same direction, or they were. It's it's bizarre. So anyway,
The thing with him is that his mom worked at the school, and she
yeah.
gave him a sticker to put on his car so that it was easier for him to go in and pick her up from work.
Do
So
you remember what she said to him?
when she said a lot of stuff.
Yeah, she said a lot to him. So when she was working at the administration, whatever the hell she did, she said, "There's a lot of young females there that are about your age, but they're too good for you.
Oh
So you would
yeah.
never sleep with them, and I'm embarrassed." She said, "So I would never introduce you to any of them."
So I had read that he had a girlfriend, that he became like engaged to, but his mom was super against it, and she like basically made them break up because the girl was 16 when they started dating, and
How old was
it,
he?
way older than 16.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I think he was
Pedophile and
well,
what is he? Tim Burton.
I mean, as well. So disgusting. Yeah, but apparently he had this like little girlfriend and they got engaged and then it didn't work out. So when the mom started working at the school, he was like, you should introduce me. And then she was like, absolutely not. So
Yeah. Damn, the fact that she said these girls are too good for you.
yeah, that's crazy. She hated him.
Yes,
She
he did. He was like,
didn't.
we break up because mother. mother said. Yeah.
Um,
So, damn. All right. Well, looks like that's the Ed Kemper voice officially dead. So I don't know if you guys know this, but that's not how he sounded at all.
I think everybody can, figure that that's not how
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, so the mom said, I have a bad feeling. The daughter's like, I'm going, and then she said that she didn't want to fight or she didn't have the energy to fight with her, and she's like, fine, just go.
Just go.
That's the
And there she
last
went.
time she talked to her. And that was an insane story because Kemper is still trying to figure it out, and he's still like he's not comfortable yet. He's not in the group. He doesn't have a system down. He's still debating whether or not he should keep the gun in his waistband or by his feet or underneath his leg. He still doesn't. So, in one of the descriptions, I think it might have even been with this girl, one of the descriptions that he said that as he was driving, he was shifting the gun around. He was like, well, I put it underneath my leg and I was trying to use like my body to block, and I would move it here, as he's driving this girl. Like he's gonna kill her. He's gonna kill this girl and he's deciding where he should put the murder weapon
Yeah. So
while she's in the car.
to this little girl, he was telling her that he was depressed and he was like on his way to, go kill himself, and he was gonna he was gonna take her with him, so that he wouldn't be alone. And so she started kind of like freaking out, and they stopped. And I think he was just very clumsy, like still, because it was still like his first. I mean, he had already killed 4 people in his life, but he was still very clumsy about it. And he got out of the car to like get something from the back, and he left the gun in the car and locked himself out.
Yeah, holy shit. I read this story and I was so pissed, because also he was
Just kidding.
yeah, I was pissed off at him. Like, what are you doing? So yeah, he talked about how he was, even he himself, he didn't call it clumsy. He used another word. He was very, I think he said bumbly. Like he would bumble around. He said, and a lot of it was he would get so excited. And again, he uses these damn examples with the interviewers, and he's like, "Have you ever felt?" He's just like so excited, you just can't wait to get your hands on something, and your hands can't stop shaking. You can't grip it. You can't. He says you just can't keep yourself together, and the interview just sits there. Like, what do you say to that? The interviewer's like, yeah, I guess. And he says, so I was always dropping the gun. He says, I kept a pocket knife with me and I kept dropping it in the car. He says, he said, I was trying to start the car twice, because I was just so like, jeez.
Yeah, he was excited. He was into it.
So he locks himself out of this car. And then the girl pointed the gun at him and said, get on the ground.
Yep.
And then like lay down. And then she got in his car and she drove off and then called the police.
Except that didn't happen. And he convinced her to open the door, and she did.
Yep. I don't know what he said. Did he talk? I didn't hear an interview where he said what he said to her.
I think that he was just maybe telling her like from what I can assume, or maybe I read something, I don't know. I think he was kind of just, like making her feel bad, like saying he was a nice guy, he was just really depressed and yada yada, and like probably told her like, I'll take you home, like I'm sorry. And then she opened the door and he killed her anyway.
Yeah, well, of course he did. I mean,
with their own scarf.
Yeah, that's so dark.
Yeah.
What's crazy is that people are like, why would she do that? Why? Okay, so there's a couple of things. Number one is panic, and when you're afraid, even if even if the person is not a direct threat, because there was a barrier between them. She was locked. She had a firearm. That brain doesn't register that. The person just registered danger. This person is right here. I can see him. The threat is right here. So they become compliant. And so, like you said, he said something to her. He was making her probably feel bad, and a lot of it was panic, probably just compliance. And also, you got to think she was 15. She was a kid.
Yeah.
So
she was a kid, and she was just scared.
Yeah, she was a 15 and a girl. So
this guy was humongous. Like it's just
fucking humongous. It's gigantic.
Everything is no good.
And if you guys are like, how scary could it be? Imagine if a fucking grizzly bear held a double barrel shotgun to your head. Same thing.
Grizzly bear with glasses and a mustache.
Yeah, with glasses and a stupid mustache. Looked like Yosemite Sam. Dumbass.
Maybe just with the mustache, I would have laughed a little bit, but then I would have still been scared.
Yeah, he looks like he smokes a cigarette with one of those like cigarette extend things, you know, and
the ladies on the like,
he's breathes, he does that thing, and he's Dr. Omelette du Fromage, and he looks at you and he puts his glasses down, as he looks at you. Anyway, so he kills this girl with his scarf, right? Mm-hmm. So he decides it's over. He turns himself in.
Yeah. But first he puts her in the trunk, and then he goes to the bar.
Goes to the cop bar. Not just any bar. The bar with his cop buddies. Mm-hmm. They hear him coming too. They're like,
it's crazy though, because you feel it's like an earthquake. He would talk about, like these murders with the cops.
Yeah.
And like he was the one doing them.
Yeah, and he was people are like, how can you, if you hear him talk like for a long time, and this is what's sick, is that you are hearing him talk and have a conversation with the interviewers, but if you just like really focused on what he's saying, it's almost as if you forget that he's the one that killed these people, and he's just relaying a story.
Mm-hmm.
He's just
making it up as he goes.
Yeah, like he's telling the story, like it's a, and he's like, then the body, and then you're like, he's the one killing them, but it takes you.
He's just so like, I guess he like detaches from it, or he just doesn't care.
But that's the sense that I got, is all right. So I think he detaches. It's not that he doesn't care, because when you hear him talk, he blames something. It's not him. Mm-hmm. It's just like he told this story about, this is coming up. He told a story about when he murdered his mom, and he did horrible things to the fucking head. And instead of saying like, I'm a sick son of a bitch, why did you do it?
Probably to the head, but to her corpse as well.
Yeah, And then he said, look what she turned me in. Look what she made me do. Look what she turned me into with the way she mistreated. It wasn't like I'm a monster.
He is, but to be fair, she was not a good person.
Well, no, she wasn't, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
The best you can do is like wait till she's of age and you put her in a home and you don't visit her, Yeah.
I mean, the thing was that she wouldn't leave him alone. Like he moved out of her house and went and got a job and like did all that, and she kept coming around unannounced, like knocking on his door, like, are you okay? Blah blah blah. And like she wouldn't leave him alone. Like the whole time she was, I guess, like treating him badly and saying she didn't like him and whatever, but when it came time like that he left, he took off and like wasn't around her, she would go around.
Yeah, she would find
tired of it.
But yeah, so anyway, so that whole thing happened, and then that was his response. He was like, look what my mom made me do. It's like, okay. So that's a person that doesn't feel remorse doesn't blame. It's just like, yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
Instead of, the whole, I did this because of this. Like, that's detachment, So Psycho, so insane. Anyway, so
So he went to
he
the
goes
bar.
to the he goes to the bar, and
Mhm.
before he goes into the bar, what does he do?
After he comes out of the bar.
Oh, that's after. Was it after or
After.
he
Before he
opens the
went
trunk?
home. Hmm.
He opens the trunk and he says that he's just admiring, you know,
Admiring his catch like a fisherman.
like damn.
Yeah.
He also he called her a very angel. He's either said, and sorry guys, it's been a while. Yeah, that's what he said. Anyway, so he was like a very angelic trophy. He said something fucked up, and it's
Hmm.
like, dude, this is a kid that you murdered,
Yeah. It's a
and you're
kid.
treating it. And you're treating it like it's something that I would be like, okay, what is something that I would be like, oh, look how cool. Um, like the David Hasselhoff trading cards.
Mm.
Like the one where he's like with the leather jacket and he's got like the red shirt underneath and he's like leaning against Kit, the car.
I know
You
you have
know,
this.
look, that's not the point. And we're not talking about me. We're talking about Ed
All
Kemper.
right. Okay.
You know, it's like you. Like I'd be like, hey, tell me about your sombrero collection. Anyways, so all right, so what does he do? He admires his catch, and
Admires
then
his
what
cat,
happens?
and then he takes it home. He takes his fish home, and he guts it.
So
So,
so gross to say. What the hell's wrong with you?
I mean, that's what he did. I'm gross, and he's there looking at the dead body in his trunk. Okay.
Look, listen. Anyway, so yeah, he takes it home and
Mhm.
he
Processes, and
yeah,
then
that's a
does whatever it is that
unassemb-
he does.
unassembles his toy.
Yeah. Yeah. Plays with it. All right, let's move on.
All
Okay,
right, move on.
next one.
Enough
Whatever.
with it.
That's a child. So the next one, he killed one girl, and apparently this one was a little heavier than the others that he usually. So he would usually go for like really thin little girls, even
That's
women. And he said that this one was a little bigger. He didn't really know why. I guess he like got that one, but he did.
that's so sick.
Yeah. So he got this one, and he almost got caught after he like killed her. He was like stuffing her body into like the closet, and his mom like got there, and she almost caught him, almost, but she didn't. Um, this was the body that, so he had cut the head off as
Yeah,
he does, and he had put it on a shelf. Um, and I guess just I don't know, maybe it slipped, but it fell, and he said that it was a really really loud thump, like
thump.
on the ground, and
It's a
like
head.
had yeah, and he had
Heads are heavy.
neighbors, and I think maybe they didn't complain. He was scared that the neighbors were going to complain about the noise,
Yeah,
which like I think that's your least, that's
of your work.
shouldn't be worried about
You,
that when you have dead bodies in your closet. So,
you know what's crazy is that I never thought about. So people think that you have to worry about like the smell once a body's decomposing. A fret like something bleeding, like the heavy smell of just iron, in the air
from all the
is
blood.
yeah from the blood, because what happens is the moment that the blood actually hits air, it becomes like half of it almost becomes like a gas. Like immediately it just
Mhm.
like begins to so you can smell it. It's like a strong, like people say like, oh, it's copperish. It like no, it's more. iron, like raw iron.
Yeah, it's just very metallic. It's nasty.
Yeah, a very metallic. People are like, oh, hell, what are we talking about? Anyway, that's not the point. So the point is the smell in that place.
I
So
think I was confused when I said he had neighbors. He did not have neighbors. I think he was scared that his mom was going to hear because he was in his mom's house at this point.
oh,
Like,
this was in his apartment. Okay.
this was after his apartment. I think after the
Okay,
apartment, he
because
moved back in with his mom.
in the apartment, I think what it was he was afraid that the walking back and forth was
Hmm.
gonna alert us. So he said he tried he said, fucking this guy is so crazy. Just like he said, so I tried.
Oh, jeez.
He,
Why are you laughing?
he said, because he said, so I try to walk around like a kitty cat. Like, what the hell is that? He said,
Oh God.
he said I was walking back and forth like a kitty cat. So I imagine Bigfoot doing this.
I was gonna say this like
As
gigantic creature like tiptoeing.
just fucking crazy. Like he's a
Anyway,
Scooby Doo villain.
yeah,
Trying to sneak up on them.
it's like the hamburger. So he killed this bigger lady, and then obviously cut off her head, whatever, put it on the shelf. It fell, and then he went to bury it outside in the backyard, and he did it right under his window, facing up.
Yeah.
So he
So that
faced
he
her,
can.
her face up, because he said he wanted to sit at the window at night and talk to her. He saw her like a
Yeah.
girlfriend type of thing. And then it was also like amusing to him because he said that his mother always wanted to be looked up.
Yep. Like he's like,
She always,
and mother
she always
always
wanted
said.
people to look up to her.
Yeah,
He
he
said.
said mother always said I always want people to look up at me, look up to me. So it's like that's crazy.
Disgusting.
And he's damn, like I said, he's told this story hundreds of times. I swear, like you type in Kemper interviews, like you get like Kemper interview of this story, you get so many different because he's talking to so many different people.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that he said was, he would talk to her. He says, when I was lonely, I would go and I talk to her. And if I listened very closely, sometimes she comforted me and she replied. I was like, what are you talking about, you crazy person?
I mean, do you expect any different? He's decapitating girls left and right. I mean,
he made a test to see if you're a dangerous, crazy person.
well,
And they still use it now.
well, apparently he's not crazy. So,
Well, yeah. Well, I thought you were going to say, like, well, he's crazy. He's just not stupid.
well, he's very smart and manipulative. So,
Yeah, and very manipulative.
mm-hmm.
So speaking of manipulative, some of the people that were with him, like when he was a teenager and mental, he says that he would ask for certain things and they would be like, yeah, I can do this. He would talk them into, like maybe let them watch some TV or let them do this or let them do that. And then even though it wasn't allowed, and then they asked him, like, is this helping you, like deal with the situation? He says, no, I just wanted to see if I could make you do it. It's like,
Yeah.
and he was a teenager.
I had heard, that like most likely they were doing it to get on his good side because the institution, I guess, that they were in had a lot of patients or a lot of like inmates slash patients, and I guess like in that situation it was better to like befriend some of the really crazy ones because they were they didn't have that many staff,
Yeah,
compared to how
befriend
many
the guy
people.
that looks like one of those fucking inflatable Frankensteins that they put like outside of
Well,
Halloween Town or Halloween
he
City,
didn't.
whatever the hell it is.
He was 15 when he was in there.
Yeah, it was fucking gigantic.
Yeah, gigantic, but I mean, he wasn't as creepy looking, I guess, as
I was not alluding to his appearance. I was alluding to his fucking size.
Oh, well, either way.
One of the doctors said that when he first met him, he says he shook my arm.
Well, yeah, I mean, his arm is the size of his hand.
Yeah, so he's like, he shook it. He explained to me how upset he was. Fuck. So all right, we gotta keep moving, guys.
Yeah,
We might even so let's just name a couple of the because yeah, we don't want a part 3. We want to be done with this topic. It's so gross.
it's
Let's
gross.
okay, so his next victim, we could describe who it was and how he did it. Okay.
Well, the next one, maybe you won't maybe get a little bit more into it because the next one was his mom.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, it was his mom. So that's why I'm
his
saying
mom
like
was
he was already living with her at this point.
yeah. His mom was talking shit.
Yeah, she had gotten home from like a party or something, and
Yeah.
she was drunk, and she like sat in bed, and he went and like followed her, I guess, like to make sure she was okay. And she was like, so I guess you're gonna want to stay up all night and talk. He was like, no, like just saying goodnight. Um, and then he left, and then 4 hours later he came back, and with the hammer he smashed her.
You didn't describe what she said to him.
Yeah, I did. Oh, okay, so he didn't kill her. I was joking. She said, I suppose you're going to want to talk. And he said, no. And then she said, for the past 7 years, because of you, my murderous son, I have not slept with a man, basically.
Yeah. And she so in a yeah. So the fuck the okay, so that's one version of it.
There are many.
The there's many versions. Another version of the story is like before you ask, he says, "No, I did not. I was not asked to be taken to bed, by another man." And he said, "No one wants to
Another.
ask." Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he. So he's, damn it, I don't even. Okay, so he said in another version, which is a little bit more vulgar, she said, "Before you ask, no, I didn't get fucked." She says, "No one wants to fuck me."
I mean, when you
Over
have
7 years.
20-foot man in the house, I don't think anybody's going to want to go there.
No, and they're like, "What the fuck?" So is he like? So is he behind glass? Like, where is he? Like, do you have like a gorilla enclosure for him? Like, does he have
I mean, everybody knew that he killed his grandparents.
Yeah, it's insane. She says, "My murderous son." So he said, I immediately, he said, I immediately looked at her and I thought, "Don't worry, I'll help you." That was one version.
Yeah.
So
Jesus. Okay.
he goes back,
He
right?
comes back, he kills her, decapitates her, normal Tuesday. And then he says that
Normal Tuesday, just another
yeah,
Tuesday.
he says that he humiliated her body and then was like, there you go, mom. Now you've had sex. Jesus Christ. Oh, man.
Oh man,
This guy is,
it's sick.
he's so gross.
Have you ever heard
Yeah.
him? Have you ever heard him when he curses? Like when he's describing something?
Yeah.
Like the way he says it is like he says it as if it's almost like vomit in his mouth. He's like there. It's in that version where he says, "There you go, mom. Now you get, blah blah blah." And another version, he goes, "Yeah." So then I thought, and I chuckled to myself. I had to chuckle, and I was like, "Well, there you go, mom. You didn't see that you were gonna get fucked."
Yeah.
That night. And I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. It's because he knows it's wrong. Like he knew like everything that he was doing wasn't okay, but he wanted to do it. That's
And
why he turned himself in. He said like it had to stop.
man. And what did he call these little moments?
His little zappets.
This little Zapple. And
Little.
oh shit, we didn't even do the show sponsor.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so this episode is brought to you by the Silver Witch. You guys can go get your spells and your little kits, and also Loot by Lottie. You guys can go get just got a discount right now on jewelry, so you guys can go check out her stuff. Also by you know, when I'm feeling like I cannot accomplish something at all, I don't have that motivation, I always look at Zapple. Whenever you need a moment of Zapple, when you want something done and you want it done right, oh fuck, get a Zapple. That's what I do. All right, thank you. So those were the sponsors for the show. So anyway, so he what?
Hmm?
What's the matter?
What do you mean? I'm just.
I don't know. You look kind of weirded out, and I was like, I just no.
It was just like you just sounded exactly like Ed Kemper, and I just.
And you thought that I was possessed by the living ghost of Kip because he's alive.
He's literally alive. Yeah. so back to
I didn't
his.
tell you. I didn't tell you I had a special guest. Ed Kemper, get on the.
Oh my God! Can you imagine?
Slasher.
So back to his dead mommy. He took out her vocal, or not her vocal cord, her like esophagus, and her like all the things in there, and he tried to put them down the garbage disposal, but it was like too tough, so that's for like little vegetables, onions, things like that. And so he put them down there, and they just kept like getting thrown out, and he was
it's like a garbage disposal. It's like, no, buddy, this is fucking gross. Deal with this shit yourself.
He was gonna have to call somebody to repair it, like get a grip.
Yeah.
So he, I guess, like found it amusing, and he was like, yeah, like it makes sense, that wouldn't work because she never stopped talking. Like, geez. All right. Yeah.
Are you okay? Did you think of a funny joke? Did you think of a funny joke or something?
I looked at the screen.
And then,
okay. And so with her head, are you looking at ghosts?
Huh? No, I was just like imagining the scenario with Ed Kemper.
Oh, okay. So with the head, he put it on the shelf. The other one, or like the mantle or something, like a little bit more fancy, and he yelled at it. Because he was so angry at her. So he yelled at her, and then at one point he was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop yelling because this is insane. So he got darts and started throwing them at her face.
The yelling part was so okay. So in one version, he said, "Oh damn it!" He said, "So I began to explain to her why this happened. This is why this happened." He said,
That's the best time to do it is after the head is already detached from the body. That's when you have a discussion.
That's when you have a discussion, that's because otherwise women won't let you get a word in. Am I right, guys?
Well, that's why he said he liked to do it. He
yeah,
kind of like wanted to turn them into dolls because once they didn't have heads, they couldn't really tell you no. So
yeah, that's right. So so he said, this is why you made me do. If you just would have been nicer to me. And then he does this thing where he was like, and then so he says, and then I looked at myself. I was like, I'm not crazy. What am I doing? And he does this thing as if he locked his keys in his car. He was like, and he's laughing, and then the reporter is kind of like, because number one, when he raises his hands to be like to do that whole thing, like, hey, you know what? He's not wearing handcuffs.
No, they just let him like walk around like not. I think maybe because like, I don't know. He's gigantic. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
He could probably
the
get
only way I
break out
would
of
let
them.
him,
That's most likely why
the,
they're like, you might as well not even.
the only way that I would allow him to talk to a reporter like that without handcuffs is if the whole time he's got my gun in his mouth. Like, I'm just
Maybe wasn't the reporter a man?
but no, a couple of them were women.
That's probably not a good idea.
No, a couple of them were women. One of them was a young, attractive woman. So I was like, dude, what are you doing?
That's his
Maybe they want to
type.
get ratings, and he's like, maybe he's gonna kill her on air.
Oh my god. Yeah, the handcuff thing, I honestly, he could probably just break them. And
Chew
they'd
them
be like,
off.
we don't want to like make him mad. Like, just take him off.
Yeah, just
There's
yeah, just. And they like, well, color. Well, what if his mom's hair? Like, oh, she has stupid haircut. Get her that haircut. We're gonna be famous on Telemundo. So then,
They probably
yeah,
showed all the crime scene, like in Mexico. They show it all
oh
in
yeah,
Central.
oh yeah, they don't give a shit, and they're like,
Crazy.
oh, and this is the guy getting assaulted, by this other man, and they're like, what the hell am I watching?
Yeah, it's just red.
Yes, al rojo vivo. So anyway, so he does that, right? He's not crazy. Why is he talking to a head? So then what happens?
So then he throws darts at her face, and then he leaves her, I believe, in her bed, or he drags her to closet. He put her in the closet. Put her in the closet, and then he went out to go like driving around. He was like, I'm not done yet. He was very upset. And he saw one of his friends. And his friend, I guess, like either got in the car or he was like talking to him, and this friend owed him $10. And he was very mad. But his friend made it out alive because he paid him the $10. And he was like,
I was gonna say
okay,
because he was a man.
well, I think maybe at that point he was a little, I mean, he had already gotten his mom. And I think at that point he was kind of just done. Like he didn't really care anymore. Like he
He was
was,
probably. I just imagine him like looking at his friend. He's like, I can't stay mad at you. Come here.
well,
And he's
especially
got like blood all over his shirt.
and $10 in that year was so
Yeah, it's like $30 now.
yeah. So he
hugs you and he's got like blood and his mom's pubes all over himself. That's fucking weird.
So his friend made it out alive. And then he called oh, you're gross. And then he called his mom's best friend, and he's like, we're gonna have a surprise dinner for my mom, so why don't you come over? And she was like, okay. So she went over. And I have read and heard that the first words that she said when she got there were, let's sit down, I'm dead. And then she was. So he hit her with a brick.
Oh, he hit her with a brick?
He hit her with a brick, and then he strangled her with the 15-year-old scarf.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's what we call a twofer.
Yeah. I mean, he's very resourceful.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's like, he's like
you
David
didn't get
Hasselhoff.
the crazy thing from the first two murders, his grandma.
Jeez.
I mean, come on.
No, jeez.
So
all right, there's like so much, and we're running low on time. So
I mean, this is the last one. This is the last person.
Is it? I thought there was two. No. Okay, well, okay, all right. Sorry, it's been a long time. Sorry, it's been a long time.
He killed this lady.
What?
And he put her in his bed.
What's the matter?
Nothing. What do you mean?
Anyway, go ahead.
So he put her in his bed, and then he went and he slept in his mom's bed. Um,
I knew this was coming. What
and then he left a note
the
on his mom's bed for the cops to find, because he left the house in the morning, and he thought that the police were looking for him because a couple, I don't know, like weeks or days maybe, I'm not sure, a couple of days before, the people that sold him the gun or sold him a gun were like looking back at records and were like, hey, this dude has killed he killed his grandparents when he was 15, so we should probably go get the gun from him.
Yep.
And then they made like some new guy go get it. And so he like went, and got the gun from him. So at that point, Kemper thinks, the police are looking for him. They're like onto him basically because they went and they took his gun. So he did give it up, but I mean he had others apparently. So he thought the police were looking for him already, and he left the note and then called the cops. Was like, hey, I did all this stuff, and they're like, man, we don't have time for this right now.
Yeah, like,
and they
come on.
they just didn't believe him.
Come on, Kemper.
Like,
what
he
a
had to
jokester.
keep calling. Yeah, he had to keep calling and being like I did it. It was me.
Oh, hey guys, it's me. Okay. Do you remember that time when you guys asked, like, hey, who is the guy that exit? Because remember when you were on the toilet in a bar and you're like, somebody just walked off and didn't wash their hands, and then finally I confessed. I'm like, hey, it was me. I didn't wash my hands. This is kind of the same thing. I killed all these people.
Mm-hmm. 6 of them.
Six.
6. Yeah, that's crazy.
And for a fuck, he turned himself. Like, imagine if he was caught.
Yeah.
How many bodies that guy would have had?
I think that at that point he was kind of just done. I think his like main goal was just his mom. Like I think all the other ones were kind of just like,
Working his way up to it.
And he was like lusting. What?
Huh?
What did you say?
I said, like, they were just to lead up to this. Like, he was working himself up,
Mm-hmm.
Like when
he was just, like, lusting after the kill, and he was like, well, I gotta practice. So
yeah, they were just all they were practice girls. Like just like a young man in high school running through the ugly chicks.
Yeah. So he left a note on his mom's bed, and I have the note here if you want to. I mean, not the actual note.
What? Did you hear that? How did you get that? Where did you get that?
Yeah, no. But it said approximately 5:15 a.m. Saturday. No need for her to suffer anymore at the hands of this horrible, murderous butcher. It was quick, asleep the way I wanted it, not sloppy and incomplete, just a lack of time. I got things to do.
Fuck. You know what's okay? What he said, complete, and he has stuff to do. Like, he just behaved as if he just got done repairing somebody's bicycle.
Yeah.
Like, oh, don't worry, I didn't half-ass the job, but I get, I do have shit to do, so there's not the bells and whistles, so, but it's fixed.
And she was asleep. That's the way he wanted to do it. Peacefully.
Yes. Peacefully. Fucking
like,
insane.
What's the point of, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it while she's sleeping so she doesn't suffer, but then afterwards I'm gonna take out her vocal cords and put them in the garbage disposal. Throw darts at her face, like okay. I guess she didn't feel it, so.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true.
So he, got caught and well, he got caught because he turned himself in.
He turned himself
Turned
in.
himself in, and then he admitted to everything, and he went to jail.
He went to jail. He's still in jail
there.
now. And dude, they wanted to parole him. And they're
Yeah.
like, well, you've been here. And the fact that I think they did a recent interview, not like this year, but like there was a recent interview where they're like, oh, you were up for parole. And he's like, and I looked at the director and said, that's not a good idea.
He told them, like, if I get out, like, I'm going to do it again.
And the
Which,
fact
like,
that they
why
were
would
kind of
you
like,
even, yeah. Like, they
they were like pushing
denied him
for him.
parole last year.
That's crazy.
Maybe at this age,
Yeah.
he'd be, too old, but
No, you fucking crazy.
no.
Have you ever seen like a really old like buffalo that's like, yep, this buffalo, he's 40. That's really fucking old. Do you ever look at that buffalo and be like, I'm gonna go like slap him? He's old. He's not gonna trample me to death.
Okay.
Now imagine an elderly Ed Kemper and he's still fucking gigantic.
Well, he is gigantic, but he's also like 100 years old. How he's like 70 some, right?
Is he? Yeah,
77.
probably.
Let me see. He is 76.
Okay.
Turns 77 December 18th.
70.
So
Yeah,
he's
he's an old gigantic man with a tiny dick.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say mustache.
No, why would I say that?
That's crazy.
That's how stupid thin, like such a sophisticated pencil mustache.
He should have had a handlebar mustache. That would have been so much better.
He should have had like a handlebar. He should have gone like handlebar, leather hat, leather vest, like dog collar.
Oh. Like he was okay. I mean, it probably wouldn't have been as scary if he was just like
You would have
that.
been like, you would have looked like a giant Rick Steiner. For all of you guys that follow wrestling, like WCW. I know there's a lot of people that love wrestling from 1995. So look up Rick Steiner. What?
Nothing.
How old were you in 1995?
3.
Anyway, so
Why? How old are you?
how old was I?
Mhm.
44.
Okay. And then?
So anyway, so if you guys don't know who that is, look up Rick Steiner. Anyway, so so that's it. That's it. He's alive and well. You guys can go. All you nasty sluts out there, why don't you go and mail him, something, like the energy drink, Zapple.
I don't even think he'd like if anybody mailed him anything. He doesn't like women when they're alive.
No, well, I mean, just send him a smashed up mannequin. Anyway, that's it.
Like grandma's ashes or something.
Yeah, this jeez.
It's true. You probably like it.
Sick. You should do that. Remember that thing with the Ramirez, where they're like licking the envelope, like oh,
yeah.
this is.
I mean,
he do the same thing. He's like, this is grandma.
It was him. He's the one that was in there licking all the envelopes.
Yeah, he was. Anyway, jeez, that's so gross. Anyway, so thank you guys for watching. Show announcements. Next topic is Ed Gein or Gain. How do you want to say his name?
Gein.
You say Gein? All right, I'll say Gein too, I guess.
Okay.
He reminds me of Ed Harris. Anyways, so
another Ed.
Another Ed, yeah. Yeah, Ed Harris. Ed Harris from Radio. Oh, that stupid movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. It's going to be controversial.
No, don't. Look, look, the discussion that we had about that movie was enough think you need to put it on here. I think you should leave it where it stayed.
You don't even know what I was gonna say.
Doesn't matter. Everything in that conversation was ridiculous. Don't even start it again.
All right, fine, whatever. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for joining us. Remember, always look both ways, especially if you find yourselves on Radio Road.